Dayas. I kindly request the chief guest, Dr. Vishal sir, to please come on to the dais. I request Professor Kailash Sharma sir, Chairman CMDR. I request the Director of CMDR, Professor Baswa Prabhu Jirli, to please come on to the dais. I also request Dr. Gaurisha, Professor and Director SES, to take his seat on the dais. Thank you. Now I request everyone for a standing ovation for the Nada Gite.
जय भारत जननीय तनुजाते जय हे कर्नाटक माते जय भारत जननीय तनुजाते जय हे कर्नाटक माते जय सुंदर नदी वनಗಳ ನಾಡೆ जय हे रस ಋಷಿಗಳ ಬೀಡೆ ಭೂದೇವಿಯ ಮಕುಟದ ನವಮಣಿ ಗಂಧದ ಚಂದದ ಹೊನ್ನಿನ ಗಣಿ ರಾಘವ ಮಧುಸೂದನರವ ಧರಿಸಿದ ಭಾರತ ಜನನಿಯ ತನುಜಾತೆ ಜಯ ಹೇ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಮಾತೆ ಜನನಿಯ ಜೋಗುಳ ವೇದದ ಘೋಷ ಜನನಿಗೆ ಜೀವವು ನಿನ್ನಾವೇಶ ಹಸುರಿನ ಗಿರಿಗಳ ಸಾರೆ ನಿನ್ನಯ ಕೊರಳಿನ ಮಾಲೆ ಕಪಿಲ ಪತಂಜಲ ಗೌತಮ ಚಿನನುತ ಭಾರತ ಜನನಿಯ ತನುಜಾತೆ ಜಯ ಹೇ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಮಾತೆ ಮನುಜ ವಿದ್ಯಾರಣ್ಯ ಬಸವ ಮಧ್ವರಿಹ ದಿವ್ಯಾರಣ್ಯ ನನ್ನ ಷಡಕ್ಷರಿ ಪೊನ್ನ ಪಂಪಲ ಕುಮಿಪತಿ ಜನ್ನ ಕುಮಾರ ದಾಸರ ಮಂಗಳ ಧಾಮ ಕವಿ ಕೋಗಿಲೆಗಳ ಪುಣ್ಯಾರಾಮ ಭಾರತ ಕ್ರಮಾನಂದ ಕಬೀರರ ಭಾರತ ಜನನಿಯ ತನುಜಾತೆ ಜಯ ಹೇ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಮಾತೆ ತೈಲಪ ಹೊಯ್ಸಳ ರಾಣಿದ ನಾಡೆ ಕಂಕಣ ಜಗಣರ ನೆಚ್ಚಿನ ಬೀಡೆ ಕೃಷ್ಣ ಶರಾವತಿ ತುಂಗ ಕಾವೇರಿಯವರ ರಂಗ ಚೈತನ್ಯ ಪರಮಹಂಸ ವಿವೇಕರ ಭಾರತ ಜನನಿಯ ತನುಜಾತೆ ಜಯ ಹೇ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಮಾತೆ ಸರ್ವ ಜನಾಂಗದ ಶಾಂತಿಯ ತೋಟ ರಸಿಕರ ಕಂಗಳ ಸೆಳೆಯುವ ನೋಟ ಹಿಂದೂ ಕ್ರೈಸ್ತ ಮುಸಲ್ಮಾನ ಪಾರಸಿಕ ಜೈನರುದ್ಯಾನ ಜನಕನ ಹೋಲುವ ದೊರೆಗಳ ಧಾಮ ಭಾರತ ವೈಣಿಕರ ರಾಮ ಕನ್ನಡ ನುಡಿ ಕುಣಿದಾಡುವ ದೇಹ ಕನ್ನಡ ತಾಯಿಯ ಮಕ್ಕಳ ದೇಹ ಭಾರತ ಜನನಿಯ ತನುಜಾತೆ ಜಯ ಹೇ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಮಾತೆ ಜಯ ಹೇ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಮಾತೆ ಜಯ ಹೇ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಮಾತೆ.
To seek the divine blessings of the Almighty, I invite Miss Seema Kulkarni to sing an invocation song.
ಗಣ ಗಣ ಗಣಗಳ ನಾಯಕಗೆ ಗಣಪತಿ ರಾಜಗೆ ಜಯ ಜಯ ಗಣ ಗಣ ಗಣಗಳ ನಾಯಕಗೆ ಗಣಪತಿ ರಾಜಗೆ ಜಯ ಜಯ ಗಣ ಗಣ ಗಣವೇ ಜಗವೇ ಗಣ ಅಣುಗಳ ಸುಗಳ ಗಣ 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 ಗಣವೇ ಜಗವೇ ಗಣ ಅಣುಗಳ ಸುಗಳ ಗಣ 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 ನಾಯಕಗೆ ಗಣಪತಿ ರಾಜಗೆ ಜಯ ಜಯ ಮೂಲಾಧಾರವು ಜೀವಗಣ ಸ್ವಾದಿಷ್ಠಾನವು ಸಸ್ಯಗಣ ಮೂಲಾಧಾರವು ಜೀವಗಣ स्वादिष्ठानौ सस्यगणा मणिपूरवे सम्पदगणವು आज्ञाचक्रवे शक्तिगणा मणिपूरवे सम्पदगणವು आज्ञाचक्रवे शक्तिगणा गण गण गणಗಳ ನಾಯಕಗೆ ಗಣಪತಿ ರಾಜಗೆ ಜಯ ಜಯ ಗೋಳಗಳೆಲ್ಲವೂ ಅಣುಗಣವು ಆಕಾಶವೆಲ್ಲ ಲೋಕಗಣ ಗೋಳಗಳೆಲ್ಲವೂ ಅಣುಗಣವು ಆಕಾಶವೆಲ್ಲ ಲೋಕಗಣ ಈ ಗಣಪತಿ ಘನಮಣಿ ಘಣಿಯೋಳ್ ಸಚ್ಚಿದಾನಂದನ ಗುಣಗಣ ಈ ಗಣಪತಿ ಘನಮಣಿ ಘೃಣಿಯೋಳ್ ಸಚ್ಚಿದಾನಂದನ ಗುಣಗಣ ಗಣ ಗಣ ಗಣಗಳ ನಾಯಕಗೆ ಗಣಪತಿ ರಾಜಗೆ ಜಯ ಜಯ ಗಣಪತಿ ರಾಜಗೆ ಜಯ ಜಯ.
To extend a warm welcome to our distinguished guests and attendees, I now invite Dr. Gaurisha, Professor and Director CES, to deliver the welcome address.
ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ. ಧಾರವಾಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಡೆವಲಪ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಕಾನ್ಕ್ಲೇವ್ ನಡೀತಾ ಇರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು ಒಂದು ಸಂತೋಷದ ವಿಷಯ. I take this privilege to extend warm welcome to all the dignitaries on the dais and off the dais. I think this kind of deliberations are necessary today in the country, as every individual, every citizen of the country is aspiring to see India on the global map on many dimensions, not just economic superpower. I think our primary aim is to become the knowledge superpower, and I think the prosperity, happiness, healthiness, I think everyone is looking for those good days for our country in the next 15-20 years by 2047. I think in that respect, CMDR has thought to have a development conclave in the month of December, if I am not wrong, and started working towards that, connected with many people, with lot of deliberations, discussions, lot of themes have been emerged during the deliberations, and then finally this format that CMDR and CES is presenting before all of you. In this context, we have very eminent personalities on the dais today. Dr. Vishal, the IAS officer, handling I think 3 portfolios in the government of Karnataka, 4 portfolios, sorry. Secretary, Finance, and I think policy, Fiscal Policy Institute is also one of the area for sir. I think very rare kind of a person in IAS officer cadre in the government of Karnataka we can see. Why? Because having a diversified portfolio at a time is one thing, and as a medical by qualification, lot of interest on language and regional development. In addition to that, I had seen in many occasions, he is a very good speaker and normally would like to interact with the participants more than delivering a big lecture. So very dynamic personality. So when I was discussing with Vedavya sir that we should this time have Vishal sir on the dais on the CMDR conclave, so immediately sir ranged up to his office and he had given, even during the house was going on, so he has given acceptance to be here as chief guest for today's inaugural session. So I extend a warm welcome to you, sir. So I request Professor Kailash Chandra sir to give the bouquet and welcome sir. And Professor Kailash Chandra Sharma, chairman of CMDR, and also holding the position of chairman of Higher Education Council of Haryana, Higher Education and Technical Education Council of Haryana, and he is a ex-vice chancellor as well, having a lot of experience, I think 4 decades of experience in education sector, traveled across the country, promoting the quality education, serving the public sector for number of years. In addition to that, he has given inspiration to a lot of youngsters and young faculty members to become good teacher, good citizen. At the same time, he is a guiding force for many organizations, not only CMDR, like this many organizations taking benefit of Kailash Chandra Sharma ji. So travel all the time various places in the country and engaging with the youngsters, faculty members, vice chancellors. So always with a smiling face, he talks to the people and inspires them. So on behalf of CMDR, chairman of CMDR, I am welcoming him. So it's his own program. So I got an opportunity to welcome him. So hearty welcome to you, sir. I request the registrar of CMDR, Vedvas Mungun sir, to give the bouquet and welcome him formally. Who's supposed to be here, Dr. Dhanajay Singh, member secretary of ICSSR. Due to some health issues, in the last night he conveyed his message that he is unable to come, and he has conveyed his best wishes for the success of the conclave. So in his absentia, I extend a warm welcome and also thank him for giving that wishes. It's our privilege to welcome all of you for this development conclave. I think good number of participation have turned up. I was just talking to the director, sir. In Bengaluru, normally people will come around at 10:30, 11. So I was expecting in Dharwad at least 9:30, 10. So I think that is extended even to Dharwad. We have affected Bangalore. Okay, other way. I'm sorry. So in that way, we are fine with that. So 10:30 in Bangalore is not a question mark at all. Anyway, so in the front desk there are many luminaries are there. I will not take the name of each individual. The governing board member of CMDR, Dr. Brimraya Maitri sir is here, and Dr. Gangadhar sir is here, and the ex-Toyota man and ASOCHAM chairman of Development Council, Parashuraman sir is here, and many luminaries are here in front row. I think Janapada University ex-vice chancellor sir, sorry, I forgot your name, and one of the leading economists of the country, ex-RBI chair professor IIM, Dr. Charan Singh sir is also come all the way from Gurgaon here. So if I name, there are many leading professors and faculty members have come here to have deliberations on the very eminent topic, that is transformation of Bharat, the story of a last 10 years and what is the way forward. So I extend a warm welcome to all of you. I extend a warm welcome to the media people, the members of CMDR and SES, the faculty and the entire team of CMDR and SES. I extend a warm welcome to all of you. Let us have a wonderful deliberations today and tomorrow. All the best.
Thank you, sir. I now request Dr. Brahmanandam sir to please welcome Dr. Gaurisha sir and present a bouquet to him. Sharma sir to please present a bouquet to Basav Prabhu Jirli sir. Light symbolizes knowledge, wisdom, and enlightenment. To mark the auspicious beginning of this conclave, I request the dignitaries on the dais to proceed for the lighting of the lamp. Invite Dr. Basav Prabhu Jirli sir, Director CMDR, to deliver the introductory remarks and set the context for this conclave.
Dignitaries on the dais, Dr. Vishal sir, Secretary Finance, Chairman, CMDR, Professor Kailash Sharma sir, who is the inspiration for all of us. Dr. Gaurisha sir, Director SES, and luminaries sitting on this, Governing Council members, academicians, industrialists, development thinkers, professionals, researchers, students. When we wanted to plan this particular conclave, development conclave, there were a number of questions that we were supposed to answer in the context of Indian history. When we talk of the historical aspects in India, most of them are debated. There are arguments, counter-arguments, disagreements. Maybe because there is lack of documentation, because of that, or counter-documentations are there. But what is happening over a period of time, whether it is being analyzed so that we can set the path for the future, was the core issue. Because I'm a student of agriculture, we are working on a small project I was sharing with Dr. Vishal sir. When the question arises how old Indian agriculture is, the debate started, it begins with a human evolution. When we look into the evolution of human being, so there are different theories. Professor Guy sir is sitting, he is an authority on that. 17 lakh 48,000 years, 12 lakh 50,000 years. There are a number of theories. Homo erectus, Homo sapien, Professor Gangadhar sir, basically an anthropologist. So number of such theories come across. But when I started looking for the evidences, one beautiful paper I got in the Nature, which said that 65,000 years ago, the Europeans used to move towards India in search of agricultural practices. And there were some other documents which said that 10,000 years ago, 11,000 BC, like that. But when I presented this thing in different forums, there was a debate. So looking into this, we thought, let us document everything in a systematic way so that this kind of debates can be countered at appropriate platforms. What is happening in the country? As Dr. Gauri sir said, by 2047, we want to be the most developed nations. So how can we achieve that? And are we moving in that direction? All these are the questions. If you look into some of the issues which are documented, which says that by 2023, India was the world's 5th largest economy. According to the IMF analysis, by 2027, we will be surpassing Japan and Germany, and we will be in the 3rd position. So these are the expectations. When we look into the GDP growth of the country over a period of last 1 decade, it is not less than 7. Whole decade, that what we can see. There is consistent growth is there. Then improvement in ease of doing business ranking. Earlier we were 140, but now it is less than 100. That we can very well visualize because of the startup ecosystem which has emerged in the country, wherein in the last 3 to 4 years or 5 years, if you look at, more than 100 startups of Indian origin are entering into the Unicorn Club with more than $1 billion US transaction. So this is what is, yes, evaluation of that particular country, more than $1 billion US. So there are 100 plus companies are joining that Unicorn Club, sir. Financial inclusion has changed the scenario of the country. Each and every individual of this nation is the beneficiary. Even though this concept was there before a decade, but its execution was not that effective. But in the last 1 decade, we have seen the benefits of that. Maybe he is a street vendor, or maybe he is a daily wages worker in an organized sector or in an unorganized sector. Everybody is having that financial inclusion benefits, and they're all the real ground level beneficiaries. This is what we can say authentically. When we look into the connectivity, for a population of about 140 crore, more than 120 crore mobile connections are there as per TRI data. Yesterday I was presenting a topic on MOOCs, Massive Open Online Courses. There were 75 faculty members under Madan Mohan Malviya Teachers Training Center. More than 75 faculty members were there. During the question answer session, one of the faculty said, sir, we are all living in rural areas. Connectivity is an issue. My immediate response to that was, madam, as far as the data says, average Indian is spending 6 hours 15 minutes per day on internet. Even after that, can we say that there is connectivity issue? How an average Indian is spending 6 hours 15 minutes on internet? So this is what the statistics says. So then she kept quiet. Means we are very well connected now, which was an issue before. Universal access to quality health as well as education. We are all the beneficiaries of that. The number of premier institutions, maybe by the public sector or the private sector. Even the private sector is also competing with the public sector as far as the quality standards are considered, and definitely the beneficiaries are the learners, the beneficiaries are the faculty members, the beneficiaries are the teachers who are associated with that. So this kind of thing that we can say. Then we are moving very fast in the direction of clean energy, green energy, harnessing the solar power, wind power, alternative renewable sources of energy. And Karnataka is playing a very dominant role, even though Madhya Pradesh has the highest area under that solar energy park. We are also taking a leap in that. Then when it comes to the decentralized decision making, I can authentically say that Karnataka is the leader in that, sir. And our institution is taking a lot of studies on that, devolution of powers to the panchayats and devolution of finance to the panchayats. Currently, these two studies are going on, and we are doing a lot of work in that direction. Keeping all these things in view, there's a huge list of that. Keeping these things in view, what is now looking for? The basic issue that what we are looking for is the policy participation debate. None of the policies that what the government has come out with are all, the basic idea with all these policies is the development of the nation, development of the people, providing the facilities and all these things. But are we, as a stakeholder at any level, maybe academicians, maybe as a beneficiary, or maybe as a financial institution, or maybe as a development institution, or maybe as a line department, are we really participating in that? So each and every one of us are having this particular responsibility with us. To what extent that we are participating, because success of that policy and taking that benefits to the end users is the responsibility of institutions. Maybe it is the private sector or the public sector, whatever. So everyone is having that responsibility as per the policy. But to what extent that we are participating is an issue. At this context, I would like to quote Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. He used to say, Kalam sir, with your involvement, you can never fail, and without your involvement, you can never succeed. If I want to harness the benefits of any policy of the government or any program of the government, I need to be an active participant in that. Even if there are any lacunas, when I bring it to the appropriate policy makers, definitely they will take care of that. So in that context, we are very fortunate today, especially we all who are all sitting in this hall, because our chief guest is an administrator as well as policy maker. But I was very happy to learn that by profession, he is an allopathic doctor, MBBS. Had he continued his profession, he would have treated about 100 to 150 patients per day. But hopefully, but as a policy maker, as an administrator, he can treat the minds of hundreds and thousands and lakhs of the people by bringing in the policies for the benefits of the people. So sir is sitting in that key position so that we can bring the changes in the country. So in this context, this Conclave is looking for the galaxy of resource persons who are going to deliberate on these issues and beyond. Because we are not only analyzing what exactly has happened so far, the future outlook is also there. So you will be guiding us, you will be giving the inputs what is anticipated in the days to come or in a decade to come, so that accordingly we can provide the inputs to the government. Then by the end of tomorrow's discussion, 2 days discussion, the conclave will consolidate the ideas of the various makers, development professionals, and place it before the appropriate bodies of the state as well as central government, so that appropriate interventions can be planned and implemented for the development of the entire nation. With this idea, we planned this particular conclave and we invited all of you. My only request is, you are all cream of the society. You should participate in every debate. You should interact with each and every resource person. So then we can churn out something, and the best possible output can be derived out of these 2 days deliberations. With this, I am concluding my words. Thank you.
We are hoping that the deliberations through this conclave will lead to some kind of policy interventions in the future. Thank you so much, sir. We are honored to have with us Dr. Vishal, IAS Secretary, Finance Department, Government of Karnataka. Dr. Vishal, R. IAS 2004 batch, Karnataka cadre, is a seasonal civil servant with over 19 years of academic experience, and concurrently holds charges as Secretary, Planning Program, Monitoring and Statistics Department, and Director, Fiscal Policy Institute. Throughout his career, he has held various key positions, including Deputy Commissioner in multiple districts, Commissioner for Public Instruction, Commissioner for Rural Drinking Water and Sanitation, and Additional Secretary to the Chief Minister of Karnataka. His expertise spans public finance, infrastructure, urban development, and social sector governance. He also oversees externally assisted projects from World Bank, ADB, etc., and institutional finance from NABARD, NIB, NHB, etc., and infrastructure expenditure as well. His leadership focuses on policy reforms, citizen-centric governance, and administrative efficiency. A warm welcome to you, sir. I now request you to take over the.
Thank you, Dharani. Dharani, I think she got Freudian slip. She said he's a seasonal officer. I thought you wanted to mean seasoned, but seasonal is okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for having me. Professor Kailash Chandra Sharma ji, Chairman, Chairperson CMDR, and Chairperson of the Haryana State Higher Education Council. Professor Jirli, gentlemen, as well as the Director of CMDR, Professor Gaurish Joshi, Director of CESS, eminent people in the audience, Dr. Charan Singh, etc. I'm very grateful that I'm in front of such an esteemed audience. Ladies and gentlemen, I work across policy. I work with academia, I work with government, I work with consultancies. Boston Consulting Group came to us, very expensive they're extremely expensive. But you give them a task, they deliver. So I was looking at them, give us policy inputs, strategic inputs, and how things can get done. They were not only telling you what can be done, how it can be done. That becomes very critical for an administrator like me. So I saw their quality and I said, "Theek hai, good. But who at your senior most level will give us a lot more rounded perspective?" They said, "Sir, we will share with you a book. Kindly read that book and tell what are your thoughts." That book is called Shocks, Crisis and Other Things. It is written by two of their senior most officials. The whole context of the books is like this. First, understand a story, then get into details. If you only understand the story, you don't understand details. If you get into details, you don't understand the story. Good example is the Indian cricket team. You may be focused on Virat Kohli, which is details. But if you do not know how the Indian cricket team in times of crisis, in times of pressure, in good times it performs, you will not know which is the best team to put in. This becomes a very, very critical input for policy for us. I break my interaction with you in 3 parts. The evolution of India's economy and Karnataka's economy with it, which is the story. The second, how backwardness and regional imbalance is a sort of detail in it. You have a story, you have a detail. The third part to this will be, as an administrator, I have only 2 things I can focus on: the quality of expenditure and the quantum of expenditure. Quantum of expenditure is again 2 things: absolute quantum, percentage of a bigger denominator. I'll give you a concrete example and tell you. Last 30-40 years, there has been a structural change in the Indian economy from agriculture to somewhat in industry, from industries directly to the services sector. Karnataka today has 68% of services, 20-22% manufacturing, less than 10% agriculture, which hovers between 9 and 10%. Second part to this, when you look at it, 2022-23 numbers tell us, Telangana PCI, per capita income, is highest. If you leave Goa and Sikkim, they are smaller states. If you look at it now, our suspicion is per capita income in Karnataka will be the highest in the country. It's not a matter of pride. I'm coming to the details in this. I gave you a story now. I gave you a big story. I'm getting into details now. One Nanda Nilekani can make all our wealth go up. IT and IT enabled services contribute to our economy. But since they are zero rated, we do not get all the benefit of it. Today, one good parameter to say actually whether we are doing well or not is consumption. In the country, we are 10th in place. Matter of concern. I am also the high-powered committee of Professor M. Govindrao. All of you must have read the Nanjundappa report. After 20 years, we are bringing the new report called the Professor M. Govindrao report. I am the member secretary of that. So we do a lot of deep dive into numbers to actually see backwardness and regional imbalance. And we find backwardness has decreased, but in some places, backwardness has not decreased as much as it should. This is the story even in the country. In the country, there are certain states which have gone ahead faster. There are states where backwardness has decreased but not much. Southern states have reduced their backwardness, but even within the southern states, there is a regional imbalance. So the question comes, what do we tackle? Do we tackle regional imbalance or do we tackle backwardness? My take on that is, we tackle backwardness. Why? You will never be able to do regional imbalance 100%. It's a matter of natural resources, capital resources, human resources. No district, no state can have everything which some other state has. So there will always be some amount of regional imbalances. So for an administrator like me, question comes. I'm taking the core example of Karnataka. For every 100 rupees that I put into Bangalore, I get 110 rupees. This is called the incremental capital output ratio, the cost benefit ratio, the cost effective ratio. These are 3 terms public finance individuals should always keep in mind. CBR, CER, ICOR. This 110 rupees which I get, 5 rupees I reinvest back into Bangalore. The other 5 rupees I take and I invest it in Bijapur or Dharwad. The question comes, sir, yen tappu madideve sir Dharwadalli? Why can't you put 100 rupees to us in Dharwad? I can definitely put 100 rupees here. But you will also have to appreciate my return on 100 rupees is 80 rupees or 70 rupees in Dharwad and Vijaypura. Why? The place where you are putting that 100 rupees may be in irrigation where your returns are not there. There, if you put it in a peripheral ring road, etc., it works. So this becomes a continuous challenge for administrators like me. At one end, you have a backward area. There is a regional imbalance. At the other end, my growth engine is Bangalore, Mysore, Hubli, Dharwad, etc. Have you heard of something called the Urban Primacy Index? Any of you? Urban primacy? Okay, urban primacy is the biggest city's population to the next biggest city in the state. In Karnataka, if you take it's 1.4 crores Bangalore to about 12 lakhs or 14 lakhs Mysore or Hubli, Dharwad. No other state has this variation. You have about 2 crores in Mumbai, you have Nagpur at 60-70 lakhs. You do not have 10 times the difference. So for policymakers, They need to look at states. They need to look at particular state to understand backwardness and regional imbalance, the story and the details. Only when you do this, you will come to the third thing. What is the third thing? I have a vision of improving India's economy. My strategy is to invest in regional imbalance to some extent, but backwardness to more. But what is my tactic? What is my logistics? The American army has a very, very important dialogue. This is what they believe in. Strategy is for amateurs. Strategy is for amateurs. Professionals do logistics. We do logistics. If I need to recruit 10,000 teachers, you can say, oh, we are backward educationally, we are backward health, blah, blah, blah. But if I do not put my 4 infrastructure, either a classroom or a teacher training, or the methodology of appointing them, counseling them, etc. If I do not put the logistics, we will talk big things, we will never do things. If somebody asks me, what is the greatest contribution in 21 years of service I have done? I say only one thing. I worked across 5 districts as DC, I've done elections, blah, 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 blah. I have recruited the highest recruitment of teachers at 13,000 teachers in 9 months flat. 6,000 other recruitment in municipal administration, compassionate, blah, blah, blah. About 19-20,000 people. The point is, if you recruit good quality people, train them well, your service delivery improves. Today, whenever I go to Mysore, I went to Mysore Chamundi Betta, the health inspector comes and tells me, sir, you appointed me, sir. In the Swachh Sarvekshan, we are doing this. This is how I went to Indore, learnt and came. So if you do not put your systems in place, people talk of 3Fs, 73rd, 74th Amendment, which is funds, functions, functionaries. I have a different take on this. First, what is the goal you want to achieve? Look at your administrative structure, whether you have people in the administrative structure and you are competent enough in the processes and procedures. If you know how to do this, you achieve things. This is details. Your vision is education. Your strategy is recruitment. But how you recruit, what you do, what are your C&R rules, what is the method, is your tactical approach. This becomes important. The next thing, as a secretary planning, I always ask these questions. People say, sir, what do you think of the welfare schemes? Some of you may call it freebies. I use the word welfare schemes, guarantee schemes, politically they are called. I say, any scheme in government or anything should be sustainable. We have about 17 sustainable development parameter goals. Sustainability is again 4 things. First, is it operationally sustainable? Can you implement it in a sustainable manner? Is it financially sustainable? Do you have finances to take care of it? Third, when you do that, will it affect the economy positively, externality or a negative externality? Is it economically sustainable? And last most important, is it environmentally sustainable? Any decision making you make in government, these are your 4 touchstones. Any decision you take based on these 4 touchstones, you achieve better. That is where, when I listen to academics speaking, when I listen to Professor Govind Rao, I have read Professor Charan Singh's books, etc., the debt sustainability, it becomes very, very critical, because Professor Charan Singh rightly writes that if your debt is unsustainable, then you are not revenue surplus, you are revenue deficit. Then you are into a vicious cycle of a debt trap. That's how it goes. So as an administrator, I listen to experts like you, youngsters who come and ask me questions. And then when we are doing policy, we advise, sir, maybe we need to do it like this. Sir, we will do it, but can we do it in this manner? Ultimately, it is a political decision. But as policy makers who will facilitate decision makers to take decisions, this is where we come in. The last thing I would like to say, I will take questions later. Whenever anybody tells me a statement, I don't believe a statement, whoever it is. There is something called trust and verify in administration. I never do that. I will first verify and then only trust. Keep this in mind. If anybody gives you a statement, find out how correct the statement is. You will need to refer, because sometimes the statement depends on the context. Ashwathama vade. It is the context. So as good public finance, developmental economists, etc., don't go by any expert including me.
independently assess it, independently question it. And then if you are satisfied, get into more details as to why it happens like that. Okay, these are very few things, small things which I have shared with you. I am again grateful to all the esteemed members, CMDR, CSS, Professor Kailash Chandra Sharma ji particularly for inviting me over. Namaskara, thank you. In fact, it was always in my mind that we should do a debt sustainable study for Karnataka. Then I'm worried politically what will happen. So I kept quiet on that. Okay. As Fiscal Policy Institute Director, we have done quietly on our own. I think the Madras School of Economics, the previous director has done. You need to know 3-4 terms in public finance. The debt GSDP or debt GDP, the fiscal deficit, the revenue deficit or revenue surplus, and the interest payment to revenue receipts ratio. These are 4 parameters which you need to verify. But then again, why these parameters are important becomes again, yake anta. When you do a temperature 102 degree andre, yak 102 ide anta. Is it because of a heat stroke or an infection? So that is the second thing. So do a little wider reading on that. Budget documents of Karnataka, especially in the website, something called the medium term fiscal plan, MTFP anta ide odi. Read a book by Professor M. Govindrao regarding public finances. So good developmental economists will understand public finance and then take better decisions and recommendations. Yes, please.
Vishal, sir, thank you very much. It is very wonderful to learn from you many things. I have 2 questions, sir. Only thing is that one is the sustainability of this freebies.
Welfare measures, welfare measures.
Welfare measures, sir. Okay. Sustainability of these welfare makers, not from the political background of sustainability, sir. In the form of this regional imbalances as well as the, for the sake of this women empowerment as well, the upliftment of the underdeveloped regions as well, the underdeveloped people, how it will be sustainable. I'll
finish the first one, then I'll take the second
okay,
one.
okay.
The welfare measures, whether what is the other one? The 5 schemes. Graha Lakshmi, according to me, Anna Bhagya, Graha Lakshmi, etc. Excellent schemes. Fiscal impact is 52,000 crores at a time. Okay. Now, anything which is there, we need to find money and do it in a sustainable manner. There is pressure on the exchequer, but we need to find ways to overcome it. One good thing about Karnataka, Maharashtra, Gujarat, some Telangana, etc. is, we are states where if we are a little bit prudent going ahead, we can manage the fiscal impact. Okay, if you go by the history of Karnataka, how Karnataka evolves, we are a consumption-based economy also, we are a forward-looking economy. The fiscal thing we can manage, provided we do not stretch ourselves more. First. Second, I am getting a study done from XKDR, from King's College London, Indus Action, Azim Premji University, independent study, not funded by us except for XKDR, to tell us how it is actually impacting. And you should see the response. By about June, July, we will be releasing the report. You see it. According to me, those are schemes where there is a benefit for a lot of men and women. But the question for a finance guy like me is, how do we manage the fiscal stress better? It's a challenge for us. We are revenue deficit, but we are looking forward in the year 2026-27 to become revenue surplus. This is my first answer. Second.
Regional imbalances, sir. As you have known that CMDR is also part of this Nanjundappa committee, and then after the implementation, at the time of implementation also, we worked for the evaluation of the Nanjundappa committee, and then we have continuously working for the Nanjundappa committee. Some of the things, and then
committee is the only issue here is, you have to be careful what is the signal. If behavioral economist amongst you will you know, people respond to incentives. The moment you declare a taluk as backward, it will never want to be called forward. Because the more backward it is, the more funding it gets. Okay. So, how do you, and whether input replicates in changes into outputs and outcomes. We are finding at many places, inputs have not fully got converted into expected outcomes.
Yes, sir. The same question and then categorized that, sir, in that context, your committee,
25 years back.
Yes, sir. Yes,
what committee at that time? Professor Nanjundappa is incidentally from Dharwad is what I was told.
No, Chitradurga.
Chitradurga, okay.
Yes.
But he was here Vice Chancellor,
in his most of
Vice
his
Chancellor.
Yes,
yeah, that is the point. Okay. See, slowly thought process has evolved over the last 20-25 years. Professor M. Govind Rao, in fact, we were in Dharwad, Hubli about 1 month back.
Yes.
We had went to Belgaum also. Professor Bagalkoti, who is coming tomorrow, is a part of the committee, Professor Govind Rao committee. You can ask him more.
Yes.
We are looking more at outcomes. Whatever we invest now, I use 3 words. What were the 3 words I used? 3 abbreviations. ICOR, CBR, CBE. So whenever you try to do an outcome-based thing, try to use these 3. Incremental capital output ratio, cost benefit ratio, cost effective ratio. So if you are able to plug this into your system, in your further reports, you will get better results.
Okay, sir. Thank you. That's good. The question was that only, sir. Whether the categorization will be...
Yes,
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Last being the environmental system.
No, last.
In
the most important.
Yeah, that's right. But in the context, I am a forester, retired 10 years back. I find in most of the developmental projects or proposals, that the last thing we do is environmental sustainability. It is better to do the environmental sustainability first, and only take those elements which qualify from there and consider. Otherwise, what happens is at the end of the process, they will try to find some kind of, narrow perspective for environmental.
Narrow interpretation.
Yeah, and find solutions to environmental sustainability, and at the end of it, in 10 years' time, we know the difficulties we really create. That's my suggestion.
I perfectly think you're right. Financially, if we don't get this right, we will fall in these things.
Yeah, yeah. And we are already seeing several problems we have created.
I agree with you. No doubts on that. 41.6 degree Dharwad district, day before yesterday. And Dharwad, my God. Last question.
ಸರ್ ನೀವು ಅವಾಗ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದು ಈ ಥರ ನಾವು 100 ರೂಪೀಸ್ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾಕಿದ್ರೆ 110 ರೂಪೀಸ್ ನಮಗೆ ಬೆನಿಫಿಟ್ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅದೇ 100 ರೂಪೀಸ್ ನಾವು ಈ ಥರ ರಿಮೋಟೆಡ್ ಏರಿಯಾ ಧಾರವಾಡ ಅಥವಾ ಬಿಜಾಪುರಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾಕಿದ್ರೆ 80 ರೂಪೀಸ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಈ ಡೆವಲಪ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅನ್ನುವಂಥದ್ದು ನಾವು ಯಾವ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡ್ತೀವಿ?
ಪರ್ಫೆಕ್ಟ್ಲಿ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್. ನಾವು ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇವೆ, 12 ವರ್ಷ ಹಿಂದೆ 2011-12ರಲ್ಲಿ ದಿ ಆವರೇಜ್ ಪರ್ ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಾ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ in Karnataka, 10 districts was above the norm. Today, only 3 districts are above the norm. Okay? Bangalore urban, Udupi, Mangalore. Chikmagalur depending on coffee prices. Okay? Gulbarga is at 1.7, 1.8 lakhs. Bangalore is at about 7 lakhs. See, this is what is happening. The per capita income is there, but if you look at it, see, these are details I gave you. Again, you have to see the story. Has Gulbarga improved? And what has been the improvement? And by what investment in Gulbarga will you increase its per capita income and other things? Idu nodbekaagtade namage. See, this is where exactly, do not look at only one detail. Look at the story and do it. Secondly, ನೀವು ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು ಇಲ್ಲ ಸರ್ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ವರ್ಡ್ ರೀಜನ್ ಇದೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾಕೋಣ ಅಂತ. You can do that. But if you do not invest in Bangalore sufficiently, you will tomorrow lose money to invest in Dharwad also. ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕಿದು. ಇಫ್ ಯು ಡು ನಾಟ್ ಟೇಕ್ ಕೇರ್ ಆಫ್ ಯುವರ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಂಗರ್ ಪರ್ಸನ್, ಯು ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಬೀಟನ್ ಅಪ್ ಬೈ ದ ಅದರ್ ಪೀಪಲ್. ಸೊ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಅವರ್ ದಿಸ್ ಥಿಂಗ್. ನಾವು ಕ್ವಾಲಿಟಿ ಆಫ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆಂಡಿಚರ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾನೆ. ಉದಾಹರಣೆಗೆ ಐ ಆಮ್ ಕಮಿಷನರ್ ಪಬ್ಲಿಕ್ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಷನ್. ಆಲ್ ಆಫ್ ಅಸ್ ಸೇ ಸರ್ ಸ್ಕೂಲ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಟೀಚರ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಐ ಆಮ್ ಗಿವಿಂಗ್ ಯು ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಟಿಸ್ಟಿಕ್. ದೀಸ್ ಆರ್ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಟಿಸ್ಟಿಕ್ಸ್. 48,000 schools, 44,000 are primary schools, 4,500 are secondary schools. Approved number of posts is 2,20,000. Working teachers are 1,10,000, 40,000 teachers are guest teachers for me, about 1,50,000. To run my schools well, I require about 10,000 to 15,000 schools only. From pre-KG to 12th, if I am able to do my Karnataka public schools, PM Shri schools, if I am able to do end to end, I will give better quality. I will give education, I will give food, I will give sports, I will give other things. Today, 500 schools have 0 students because the population has crashed. There are 3,000 schools with less than 10 students and 13,000 schools with less than 30 students. We are not effectively utilizing our resources. Within half a kilometer, there are schools which can be made more rational and teachers given, your food given better. This is where your quality of expenditure comes. Now, we yochideve, sir, 6% ನೀವು ಎಜುಕೇಶನ್ ಒಳಗೆ ಕೊಡಿ, 6% ಹೆಲ್ತ್ ಒಳಗೆ ಕೊಡಿ ಅಂತ. 6% ಕೊಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಬರೋದಿಲ್ಲ ನಮಗೆ. Someone has told, WHO, we can't give, we may give 3 to 4%, but how do you get the best out of it? That is our challenge. So never ever just go by absolute numbers. Look at the qualitative thing also. By giving this more, am I able to do better? This is my way of looking at it, okay?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
And you, as like you said, you people are the policy makers and you make so many schemes, welfare schemes and all. What if the political party does not allow you to implement? How do you handle such situations, which will really improve the economy of the country? You know it better, but the political parties don't allow you to do so. So what would be your reaction for this?
You want me to lose my job? I handle about 40-50 files a day, previously 100 files. 95% to 98% of files, nobody interferes. In the rest of the 2%, 1% of it is 50-50. What the political person says is also right, what I say is also right. In the 1% where he and I have that, we have ways to handle it. We have ways to handle it, first. Second, please do not be under the assumption that a political guy is as portrayed in the TV, etc. He knows many times ground reality is much better than an officer. It is our capability, our skill set to convince him, to educate him and say, sir, why don't you look at this? Have you become intelligent in one day? No, it has taken 10 years. So when a political person comes, I have worked with stalwarts across political parties, okay? When you sit with them, they will educate you more on things. As officers, we have our skill set. But believe me, there are exceptions to the rule. But majority of politicians are quite reasonable many times. It is how you approach them and convince them and talk to them. This is important. Thank you.
So last question, sir, and it has given the report. Do we lack that kind of an institution or expert group that we need to approach them to give a sustainable,
okay,
to fund the welfare projects?
Not welfare. See, when I listen explaining to me, it's 100%. I did not know this. I'm a practitioner, I did not know this. He says in your insurance, it is 20%. He was explaining to me. For me, anybody who knows things comes and tells me knowledge is useful. I will utilize Professor Jirli strategically. I will utilize BCG strategically. If my intention with BCG group was simple, we paid them about 9 crores. My return on that was, I will take 300 crores out of them. So we are doing something called the INVIT. INVIT is the Investment Infrastructure Trust. If you do that, KPTCL will save 100 crores a year for at least 20 years. Similarly, I'm able to rationalize some of my health centers. Similarly, we started something called the PM salary package, etc. The financial inclusion. So it is up to you to get the best out of them, because sometimes in your day-to-day fight, you may not have the time to sit and do the ideation and do this. So get the best out of everybody and do. Do not say he is bad, he is good. Try to get the best out of everybody and make it work.
For that matter, going ahead, this conclave also marks 2 significant milestones. One is the release of the inaugural issue of the CMDR Journal of Social Research, which is a dedicated platform for scholarly research and policy discussions, and also the distribution of awards for the Indian Knowledge System Essay Competition recognizing young scholars. I now request Basava Prabhu Jirli sir to please elaborate on both these milestones.
CMDR is coming out with the first issue of CMDR Journal of Social Research. Actually, I happened to visit Raichur once for my academic purpose, and I learned that one of our founder member of CMDR, Professor V.R. Panchmukhi sir, recently he was awarded with a Padma Shri also in education and research sector. So I went to him and just to pay my regards, and he was asking about the developments, what kind of things that are going on. And when I said that, sir, shortly we are coming out with one research journal on social research, CMDR, he was so happy as a founder member. He is almost 90, sir, nearing to 90. He was so happy. ಈ ಕೆಲಸ ಬಹಳ ಮೊದಲೇ ಆಗಬೇಕಾಗಿತ್ತು. At least you have taken initiative. So let us, means my best wishes are with you. So with that, I request the dignitaries on the dais to release the first issue of CMDR Journal of Social Research. I request Dr. Jai Prabhakar, who is the editor of this journal, to join this event. Please, sir. knowledge systems, the traditional wisdom our ancestors has, and all those things. So CMDR has a unit of, on Indian knowledge systems, to work on Indian knowledge systems. The unit thought that, okay, let us go for organizing an event wherein we can reach the young minds. Organizing an essay writing competition. The topic was Indian knowledge systems, relevance of ancient practices for contemporary problems. So this was the topic with which that we organized this, and this competition was any educational institution in India or abroad. So we received 7 entries from different countries. Indian students working in, studying in different countries. Entries that were received as a part of this essay, they were subjected to the check and all. So then psychology, Karnataka University, Dhanajay. Prize that we declared was, the first place was rupees 10,000, second place 7,000, third place 5,000, and have 3 compensation, consolation prizes of 3,000 each. So out of these 6 things, prizes, so we are going to distribute 3 students, scholars. They have requested that because of their examinations and all in their respective universities, they are unable to attend this program. So just I am declaring the results of that. The consolation prize goes to Miss Tegala Shruti from Nizamabad Observatory Campus, SES Begumpet, Hyderabad. And Miss Sudhat V. No, she will be taking 2, sir. Please, please. Sudhat. Another consolation prize goes to Rajat Kumar Nath from Indian Andhra University, Visakhapatnam. Kona Mahalakshmi, Andhra University student. Basically, she is a student of philosophy, master's, a PG student. Sir, they all tried to bring in the science behind this. Thank you, sir.
So, congratulations once again to the young minds, and wish you all best. We also have with us today Professor Kailash Chandra Sharma, sir. He is the chairman of the Haryana State Higher Education Council and chairman of CMDR, Dharwad. He is a former Vice Chancellor of Kurukshetra University and Dr. B.R. Ambedkar National Law University. A retired professor from the University of Rajasthan, he has over 35 years of teaching and research experience in plant morphology, developmental anatomy, and environmental effects on plant structure. Dr. Sharma has authored 4 books, published 75 plus research papers, and guided 21 PhD scholars. He has held key academic and administrative positions contributing to higher education policy, curriculum development, and research funding. A warm welcome to you, sir. I now request you to take over the dais.
Vishal ji, the chief guest of the function, and he also actually became the keynote speaker of the session. And he has very well set the tone of the 2 days conclave. Professor Zidli, Director of CMDR, Professor Gaurisha, Director of SES, the governing council members of CMDR, the resource persons of the conclave, present and former vice chancellors, academic leaders, professors, researchers, and students who have gathered here for this 2 days conclave. Actually, the title of the theme, The Transformation of Bharat, the Story of a Decade and Future Outlook, itself speaks that we are taking stock of the things, or we are reviewing about the different policies decided by the central government, by the state governments, how they are being implemented, what are the impacts, visual impacts and actual impacts, the actual effects on the society, and how this our country Bharat is seen globally today after 10 decades of different policies. We have seen a big change in the economic policies during 1990s when the country adopted the economic reform policies, liberalization policies, and we have seen several initiatives taken place. But during the past 10 years, 1 decade, the policies in different sectors which we are deliberating upon, in some of the sectors we are deliberating, the manufacturing, banking and financial inclusions, agriculture, foreign policy, economic growth and competitiveness, etc. Several policies have been drafted, implemented, and now we are seeing the positive, I would say positive effects of these policies after their implementation. Professor Zidli has taken us to the historical background, and then he has raised certain questions, and he has very importantly indicated that various debates have been taking place and are being taking place in the country regarding the policies, these policies which are being implemented, and new policies are coming up. So, what is our involvement? How we are in giving our suggestions to making these policies? So he has also asked, requested all the intellectuals, academicians, and other the stakeholders of the society to deliberate upon such deliberation conclaves are meant for these, I think, policy makings. I would say I'm not an expert of the financial and economic developments, etc. But listening to Dr. Vishalji, who is involved in policy making, and he has very rightly says, if the policies are made not only based on the theories, but on the basis of expert advice and on the basis of experiences, on the basis of learnings, those policies will be effective policies and the results will be seen on ground also. And we are happy to know that one of our state, Karnataka, he has categorized the states into different categories, consumption-based economies, and Karnataka is one of the states of our country which he has defined as forward-looking state of the country. So, can we say that during last decade the policies of the country and states, our country is heading towards the forward-looking state, forward-looking economy, instead of consumption-based economy. So, I think the visual effects show the signs towards this transformation. Regarding various policies taken, because I am involved in academics, I am involved in different academic policies also a little bit. So, I know that one of the important policy during last decade is the national education policy, which was declared by central government in July 2020. And now almost 5 years are there. Most of the higher educational institutions and institutions through NCRT at different levels in school education, at foundational, elementary, secondary level, this policy is being implemented and results are seen. The ecosystem about which Professor Zirli and Gauri Shadi, they were indicating, the startup ecosystem has emerged is one of the important policy, and this is taking a pace because of the changes in the education policy. So the important changes in the national education policy is the recommendation of a holistic and multidisciplinary education. So if we go into details of that, what is holistic? The overall development of a human being, of the youth, not only for earnings, etc., the personality overall development, the mind, heart and hand development, spiritual development, one of the key recommendations of the policy. And as part of that policy important recommendation, the curricula to be revised, updated, have the best available research knowledge of the particular subject, should include skills in the curricula. The skills when we say, vocational education when we say, should not be part of only science. It should be embedded in the social science, the art subjects also. So the faculty members should discover those skills to embed in the curricula. Secondly, what are the technological advancements are taking place, those should be part of the curricula. Thirdly, the experiential learning. The students, the stakeholders, they should be taken to industries, to corporate and other levels. They have the first-hand information, they have the experience what they are being taught in the classes. So this experiential learning is important part. So it is advised that when you are redesigning your curricula, should involve the industries, the corporate and the administrators. What are the requirements of the society and the country? So those recommendations are being implemented, and the most importantly, every curricula should have the Indian knowledge system of the traditional wisdom of Bharat. What has been the contribution of Bharat to different subjects? So that should be the important part of the curricula. So that is how a multidisciplinary institution, an institution which is not unitary, an institution which is having all the different disciplines with experiential learning and Indian knowledge system, technology, skills and all that, that will prepare competent youth. The youth will be well-rounded. An integral human being will come out of the campuses, and those human beings are the requirement to transform the country, and that is for the idea and the target being set by our country, led by our Prime Minister, that by 2047 we should be the superpower. And as Gaurish has said, not superpower in terms of the economy and defense. Superpower means our society should be knowledge-based society. Knowledge-based society will complete all the requirements of the society, of the country, and I think we are heading towards that. That is one important policy I have seen. And these things are visible globally also. This education policy is being being studied by many of the countries. They have appreciated such a unique policy has come, and this will be a tool to transform the Bharat. But recently, 2 days back, I was reading an article, and that article says that Raisana dialogue, it is an initiation of Bharat. This activity is happening during last a decade. The 10th episode happened during recently. In this dialogue, we have seen that 3,500 delegates from 130 countries attended this dialogue. And it was jointly inaugurated by the Prime Minister of New Zealand and Prime Minister of our country. And in that session, the idea of Bharat, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, and the idea of Bharat that this is not the time to have wars, conflicts, resolve through dialogues. So the countries, they are seeing towards our country, the Bharat should lead us. Bharat should give us ideas how we can prosper, how can we proceed ahead. So I think it is visible, and this time, I think during last 10 years, what are the other policies, economical, these foreign policy, and other reforms are being taken through the national and the state governments. We will deliberate upon during different sessions, and I think yesterday we were informally discussing with the two of our experts, and when you will listen to these eminent speakers, you will find the depth of knowledge, and you will find questions to your you are having in your mind. So I appreciate that the two centers, the Center for this multidisciplinary research here in Harvard, our center, and the CES, they have jointly organized it, and wonderful, excellent speakers will be deliberating upon different these parameters of this journey, and I appreciate that. And the two directors and their team, I'm sure that with the presence of such eminent speakers and the level of the question answer, just a glimpse of that we have seen in this session, it is going to be a fruitful conclave. Thank you very much.
I now request Dr. Jai Prabhakar, Assistant Professor, CMDR, to please give away vote of thanks.
Good morning to all the dignitaries on the dais and after dais. It's the end of this inaugural session, but the beginning of auspicious dialogue, auspicious beginning of dialogues, and as well as the deliberation on transformation of Bharat. At the outset, I am very happy to propose a vote of thanks on this occasion. On behalf of CMDR and CES, I express my heartfelt thanks to our chief guest, today's chief guest, Dr. Vishal R, IAS, Secretary, Finance Department, Government of Karnataka. Sir, you highlighted many points, including the sustainability, regional disparity, as well as the perception of administration with the import to the policies and programs. We are very thankful for you, sir, for making time and being with us. Thank you so much. I request Professor Prabhu Jirli, sir, to present a memento as a token of our respect and respect. Thank you so much. Chairman of CMDR, So I request Professor Gauri sir to present a moment as a token of appreciation and respect. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. My sincere gratitude to Professor Gauri sir, our Director SS. He helped us to realize this event. Thank you so much, sir. And my thanks to Professor Basav Prabhajurli, sir, delegates, students, research scholars, CES team, CMDR team, and media person. Thank you one and all. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. We are now concluding the inaugural.